So think of things that are true, things that are right, things that are admirable. Blessing was a child who was stuck by one corner and refused to shift or refused to make a change. I couldn't think of bigger things. I couldn't achieve anything much bigger because my mind was limited to what I thought I was.
You shared a lot about self-confidence, I believe. No, mindset shifts. Yeah, you shared a lot about that. And chapter 3 talks about courage, self-discovery, courage, valuing yourself and knowing that you're more than what you actually think you are. So I'm going to quote something that you said in chapter 2, right? It says, and I quote, changing your mindset is changing what you do and how you do it, but not changing yourself. So can you elaborate on that, please?
Okay. So I think there is a difference between trying to change and becoming the change. So what I did personally was to become the change by transforming my own mindset, which is why chapter 2 is all about mindset shift. So what I did in practical terms was to start using my own voice. So remember, those self-doubts were still there even as an adult. And they were kind of limiting what I was doing or limiting myself in every other aspect of my life, not just while I was writing the book. So I had to start using my voice to speak out loud. So I practiced a whole lot. I created affirmations for myself and even for my children. And we said this out loud every day for a long time in our life. Even till now, my children still use their own affirmations. So I began to realize the power of our words, the power of spoken words, not just the spoken words from other people, but spoken words to yourself. So there is a transformation in our brain that happens when we speak positive words to ourselves. So that's one of the things that helped me to be able to shift perspective, to be able to shift my mind from listening or trying to allow those words, those negative words to control me, so I had to shift my state of mind from that to becoming much better. So I always tell myself that I can be much better. I am created for more. I am much more. So that's something that really helped me to change my mindset. Another thing was also to align my mindset with my values. Remember, as a Christian, my values are more founded in the Word of God. So what I always tell my kids is that think about the fruits of the Spirit. Those are all our values in our family: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness. So I say, whenever you want to think of how to act, think of the fruits of the Spirit. That's the values. That's the foundation for what we use as values in our home. So when I think of those words, it just helps me shift focus from whatever self-doubt, whatever trying to limit me from doing the next thing that I'm meant to be doing. So I had to switch my mind to thinking positively. Another thing was Philippians 4:8, where the Bible talks about what you think about. So think of things that are true, things that are right, things that are admirable. So that is another powerful scripture that kind of helped me throughout that phase to kind of transform my mind. Because in transforming my mind, I was now able to transform myself and the things I do, the things I do daily and things like that.
So you said transforming yourself. The book says changing your mindset, right? But not necessarily changing
who you are.
So you still remain your normal self, who you are. The only difference now is your mindset. Right? So who were you? Who was Blessing before the shift in the mindset?
Well, Blessing was a scared little girl. Blessing was a child who was stuck by one corner and refused to shift or refused to make a change. So Blessing was somebody who was limited because of the way she was thinking about herself. She thought she was incapable. She thought she was not beautiful. I mean, if you read the book, you will see where I really compared myself with my older sister. So I thought I was just one ugly girl. I thought I was unrecognizable, somebody that nobody will ever see, as somebody that was useful. Exactly. So I thought I was inconsequential, really. So that was what I used to think of myself before. And I think that limited me because I couldn't move. I couldn't think of bigger things. I couldn't achieve anything much bigger because my mind was limited to what I thought I was.
But so who is Blessing now?
Oh, I am so much more. I am so much more, and I'm still discovering myself by the day.
So, Blessing, in chapter 1 of your book, You Are Much More, you shared your experience as a child, obviously. Can you say if societal pressure or expectation had any impact in how or contributed to the fears that you had, or even if they did contribute to the fears that you had, how were you able to overcome that? And yeah, before you answer, I'm just gonna say that, for example, in this world that we are in, there are loads of pressures now than before.
Yeah.
The social media is there. You can get information anywhere. You see people doing things sometimes, and that can sometimes put pressure on some people because they feel like, I want to do what they do, but am I up to it? Can I be as good as they are? So going back to the question, right? Did societal expectation or pressure, they have any impact or effect on the fears that you had growing up?
Yeah, I think the story I shared earlier about my childhood when the children were chasing me with the teddy, that will count a little bit as pressure from those children, because perhaps if it were just my brother or my sister inside the room or a friend inside the room doing this to me, I wouldn't be so scared. But the fact that the whole neighborhood saw my fears, everyone knew that I was scared of that.
Yeah.
That, I think, that added more pressure to me, and that really caused me to be more worried and really concerned and scared for myself and for my own safety, and that kind of had more impact on my mind, because it laid something in my mind that carried on to when I was an adult. Yeah. So coming back to the present day and time, while I was writing, of course, societal pressure kind of had a bit of impact, because I kept thinking, people have written formidable books, people have written books that are so phenomenal. What am I going to write? I'm only a young girl with few qualifications at that time. I wasn't a founder of anything or a fan, so I thought, okay, is anybody going to read this? So again, that is also societal pressure kind of coming in. Because I'm like, okay, I've read bigger books that are larger, people had more things to write about. What do I have? Mine is just going to be a little piece. So yes, there was societal pressure, but however, I had a handsome man beside me who would always remind me that I was important, that there were people out there that would be willing to hear my story, that there are people out there that would want to pay to read my book, that my book was going to be worth something valuable. So he kept reminding me about that. And of course, personally, I always went back to the drawing board. I always went back to the vision, the plan, knowing that, I was created to do something huge. I was created to make a difference, to actually make a huge impact in the life of people. I knew I was meant to empower people from a young age. I knew, because that's the only way I will have so much pain or so much fear within me, because I say, wherever your pain is or wherever your fear is, it just means there's something larger behind it. There's something much bigger.
Just that, I read that in your book.
So I knew that I wouldn't have gone through all these challenges or all these experiences for nothing. There was really something behind. So it's more like pushing past my pain to actualize my purpose. I think that's, in a nutshell, what my story is all about. So I kept on going back to the drawing board, remembering the why. Why did I want to even write this book in the first place? Why am I even created? I was created so that people can hear the story. People can feel inspired by listening to my own story, because I wasn't alone. I'm sure other people have experienced this sort of traumatic incidents in their life. So I was created for much more. So that kept me going. That kept me pushing past the fears. So beside my husband, besides my why, I also had to gather feedbacks from people. So I spoke to a few mentors at the time, told them what I was doing. They encouraged me. They kind of motivated me to just keep going, to just push past whatever I feel I'm afraid of.
So that talks about the power of having the right community. People around you, and a lot of sometimes we cut ourselves short on a lot of things. We talk low about ourselves, of ourselves. That imposter syndrome
comes in.
a whole lot of times. And you know what? People, you don't know yourself as much as people that are seeing you. A lot of times people see greater than how you see yourself. I like what you said about your husband, that you had a handsome person, man, telling you that
you believe so much more
you are made for more. He sees something. A lot of times we don't see those things. All, we don't see them, but it just tells about having good support around, having good support system, not just having a community, not just having a support system, right? But having a good one. The importance of it. That's really good. So earlier on this year, I read a book, Atomic Habits, and it's really practical. Different shared practical steps in achieving our desired goals, really. So can you share some achievable, simple habits that one can have to achieve self-confidence?
Okay. I think one major one for me will be to dare yourself to try something new. Okay. So do something that you haven't done before. It could be normally when you're in a meeting, you don't speak, you're quiet. Try and speak up while you're in the meeting the next day. It could be something like you said, you've been trying to start the mate show, but you just were hesitating for so long. So you're just daring yourself to just try something new. Another thing you can do is to go learn a new skill. It could be something you're not really good at doing. It could be editing video, just anything. It could even be cooking. Dare yourself to try something new. Because I realized that when we empower ourselves, we gain more confidence. It could even be daring yourself to perhaps living a much more healthy lifestyle.
Absolutely.
That's another thing that can give you more confidence, because you might be losing confidence, or you might have low confidence in yourself because you just feel that you're not really looking good, or you perhaps maybe you don't speak clear English. Then go and learn proper English. There are lots of apps now that we can get on our phones that can help us enhance the way we speak or our English. So just go learn something that you've been wishing to learn. Go do that exercise if that's what you want to do.
I feel like you're just throwing shots at me.
No, not really.
When you say go do that exercise,
so that you can start feeling really good. If it's an attire or a clothing that you like to wear, like personally, I think one of the things I started doing 5-6 years ago, I don't know if anyone has noticed, I started wearing more blazers because I love it when I see women in blazers. So it could just be
I have noticed, and you have them in different colors.
I'm glad you've noticed
bright
that.
colors.
Because I wanted to look bright. I wanted to be that woman that when I walk into a room, I'm noticed. Because all my life I always felt I wasn't noticed. So I needed to wear brighter colors. For God's sake, why do I want to be wearing dark colors all the time? That's intention.
That would take me to the next. Well, is it a question or what? I would say, before you can say all of this, something should have happened, which would be you going into self-discovery, knowing that there is a need for those things to happen. And it won't just come if you haven't reflected that, I don't think this is working well. I think I should do more. I think in this aspect I should work on it. So there should be that moment of you self-awareness. Self-awareness, and actually knowing that, there's something that is missing. There's something that isn't working right. There's something to do. So absolutely, I agree with you 100%, especially when you've seen it. You've identified, you're self-aware that in this aspect of life, in this particular, maybe in your appearance, like you said earlier, in my appearance, I feel less confident of myself when I see myself in the mirror. Then the journey starts from there. The journey starts from you actually discovering, realizing that. Then takes it from there. So thank you so much, Blessing. It's been an honor having you. So if someone listening to us today wants to take control of their confidence and mindset, if they want to experience shift in their mindset, what would be the first thing, practical step that you would recommend for them?
I'd say number one, they should start with self-reflection. That is a powerful practice that I would encourage anyone to start doing. I wish I started doing it much more when I was younger, like a teenager.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, it's never too late. If you're listening to this, start self-reflection. So it's something you can do even if it's once a day, and it doesn't take too long. It could be for 5 or 10 minutes. Reflect on how your day has gone. What have you said? What have you heard? What did you listen to? Who did you meet? What did you say? How would you have done it? Would it have been better to say this way, or would you have responded this way?
Yeah.
So analyze how your day has been. Reflect. Self-reflection is so key because it leads to self-awareness, which eventually leads to growth, brings more clarity of who you are, how you're acting, makes you more aware of your relationship with people and your actions that you take on a daily basis. So self-awareness is very key. Secondly, I would say just take action. Take action. Show up for that event. So is there something that you've been wanting to do, or is there something you've been wanting to try? Take the action now. Go ahead and start. You don't need to be ready to start. No one is usually ready before they start doing something. You just need to start.
You learn on the job.
Exactly. You learn on the job. You just need to listen, like you've heard us today. So go on and take action. Just start that business. Start that job. Go for that interview. Do that thing. Write that book. Whatever you want to do, take action. So that's the second step, I would say. And then thirdly, focus on the progress. Don't focus on what other people are doing. Don't focus on what the A is doing or what B is doing. Don't compare yourself to anybody. Focus on your progress. How far have you gone? And remember, while you take action, while you're in that progress, be reflecting on your journey. Look at how far you started. Compare yourself with yourself, not what the next person is doing. So stop comparing yourself with what other people are doing. Just do you. Do what works for you.
Do you.
Okay.
So I'm going to saying that, do you. What's that personal ritual that has helped you?
I think my own ritual personally is journaling. I do a lot of journaling. So as I'm reflecting every day, I'm journaling. I have a gratitude journal and I have a normal practical journal for my plans and everything I've done the previous day and stuff like that. So I do a lot of journaling. So if you're someone that loves to do that, you can get the app on your phone, or you can get a book if you want to write it personally, or use the notes app on your phone. But either way, just journal, because there's something about visualizing what you want to achieve or what you want to do, your goals, visualizing it. That's when they are written down in plain paper and pen. So
100%.
That sort of have helped me a lot, because it just helps me focus on the right thing. It helps me shift perspective at the right time. It just helps me do what I need to do at the right time, because I can see that
to put things
in order as well. So I love journaling, and that's one thing I have done that has sort of helped me a lot. Secondly, I will say be boundaried. This is another one I wish. That's me.
That you practice.
I practice. I wish I knew this much earlier, but try as much as possible and be boundaried. If it comes to saying no to going out, or saying no to picking that call, or no to distractions, say no, for goodness sake. Do what works for you. If that system works for your own peace of mind,
growth
and for your growth as well. So if you want to move, it's like being disciplined. Exactly. So I wish I knew that much more when I was younger. But either way, be boundaried, because it protects your peace. And it protects your time. And it also protects your energy.
How can we stay consistent in that? Because it's easier. A lot of times, it's easier said than done. We say it, right? We practice it for a while, then we see ourselves falling short at some point. So how can we stay consistent?
I would say look at what you've achieved. When you practice it, perhaps you did it last week, or yesterday, or last year. Go back and look at what you've achieved. That's why journaling is good, because you have a journal, you have like a record of things you've done or things you've achieved, all the times where you practice it, whatever happened. Look at it, look at your wins. What did you achieve then? How productive were you? Were you useful to yourself and to your vision at that time? So if you look at that, that will sort of propel you or kind of push you to want to be consistent. So that's why it's always good to keep a list of your achievements or a list of your wins or a list of things you've done that you're kind of really proud of. That's another thing that kind of helps me with my imposter syndrome as well, because everyone has that. Even the most successful people, they have that. But I always go back to my gratitude journal and I look at, okay, what have I achieved? What have I done? That boosts my confidence. That helps me to want to move forward. That helps me to keep consistent in whatever I'm doing at that time. Because I remember that at that time when I was consistently boundary, at that time when I was, focused on what I wanted to achieve, I actually achieved a lot. Because this and this and this is what I wrote down at that time and see what I achieved. So I keep track of what I've done and I go back to it and it just helps me to forge ahead.
Yeah. Well done. Well done. I'm just having another thought, right? You keep journals and you do your gratitude journal. You keep your gratitude journal. When things are not working the way you want them to go, do you have a journal for that?
I do. Like I said, I have two. I have my gratitude one, and then I have the normal ones for plans that I want to achieve and things I want to keep track of. And so all those things are all in the other ones. But I have one that is strictly for gratitude that I go when I want to appraise myself, or when I want to really feel good. I want to look at what I've achieved. I want to put myself in that mood or that mindset of happiness and calmness and peace. I want to rejoice with myself. So I have that one separately. So yes, I have a journal for all the plans, and some of them I haven't worked out, so they haven't progressed onto my gratitude journal. So they are all still there in that journal. They're still there, and I look at them, but I just don't bother about them. Sometimes if it gets too worrisome in my mind, then I just rip them out and I tear it like just out of there, and I don't bother looking at it again, and it's just gone. Because I want to focus on the positive most of the time. That's me.
Wow, that's awesome. That's really awesome. Okay, so I was going to talk about You Are Much More. What is that thing that you think people will learn from reading this book?
I think they are going to learn how to shift their perspective on things generally in life. I think it will help transform their mind as well, and the way they see themselves, which is something that is fundamental about that book. They will also learn how to use their words rightly, because I believe in the power of our words. So that's something people will also learn. They will learn that they are certainly created for a reason, for a purpose, which is one of the reasons why they exist. They are not just surviving, but they exist to thrive. So they will learn that as well if they read the book, which will eventually help them push past their fears. And then for them to be able to achieve whatever they want to achieve in life.
And I'm also going to add, because I've read the book, that the book is very, very relatable. So if you're out there and you feel you have some fears in you that you haven't overcome just yet, I mean, this is like, we're not saying that that's the end of the world or that you stay in how you feel forever. But just to say that it's not just you, there are other people. Whatever you feel at this moment happens to other people as well, including Blessing here. So she's been there, she's felt it, and she is now in a recovery journey. We're not there yet. We're still working towards it, but she is out there. She's not where she used to be. She's not who she used to be. She's not that fearful. Those things are just playing in her mind though. But that is not who she is at the moment. But thank you so very much, Blessing. It's been an honor having you. It's really, really been an awesome time having you here today. Thank you
I've
so
enjoyed
very
myself.
much. I'm glad.
Been a pleasure.
So that's it. We've met the author. And remember when I said this lady here is a woman of, you can tell from the interview, she's full of wisdom and knowledge. And we've learned so much from her experience, the journey through when she wrote her book. I do hope you can engage and join us again. Next time, we'll bring another guest your way. So take care and I will see you again. Bye.